Dave Filoni's Ahsoka series is the Star Wars show fans have been waiting for, and now the official trailer has arrived. Questions are being asked about the 2 new dark side characters. Strap yourselves into those E-Wings because this has the potential to change the galaxy forever.
Things have changed.
However, it doesn't come without its risks.
We have to prepare for the worst.
Let's start off by looking at what we know about these characters so far, what Dave Filoni seems to be setting up with their introduction, and how this could all change the entire Star Wars galaxy going forwards. Now, with the Ahsoka series running side by side at times with The Mandalorian Season 3, we're taking a trip back into the galaxy in a time we're all becoming quite familiar with. Although it's not very clear how closely Ahsoka runs with Mando Season 3, I would say due to the fact that the New Republic looks largely uninterested in the Imperial remnants in Season 3, and in the Ahsoka series we see them coming under direct attack, my guess would be that the Ahsoka series at least goes past The Mandalorian by 1 or 2 episodes. Now, one of the hot talking points amongst Star Wars fans at the moment is why have we not seen Baylan and Shin, these 2 new characters in Star Wars before? And we've got an answer for that, which we'll come on to in a moment. But first, let's just brush up on what we know about the pair. So we've got Baylan, who was a former Jedi Master, and he likely fought during the Clone Wars. Now, we can come to this conclusion because he knew and he spoke to Anakin about Ahsoka Tano. And of course, Ahsoka was only ever Anakin's apprentice during the war. Now, Baylan is said to have fled during Order 66, and unlike many other Jedi during that time, he decided to escape to the unknown regions. Of course, that did turn out to be a wise choice. In the years following Order 66, it wasn't exactly popular to be a Jedi. And he would have found, like all surviving Jedi, they can no longer rely on Republic support or the goodwill of the people. Now, if you didn't know, the Jedi largely relied on funds from the Republic to keep them going. Even Jedi need a place to sleep, to drink, to eat. And when they were out and about on missions, they largely kept going thanks to the goodwill of the people. It was seen as a really good thing if a Jedi was eating at your establishment. But effectively what this meant was Baylan and any other surviving Jedi, they needed to find work to earn credits. Now, unlike Jedi such as Cal Kestis and Obi-Wan, who took up regular jobs to earn credits and survive and hide their Force powers to go undetected by the Empire, the Unknown Regions was free of the Empire for the most part. So that means Baylan could still wield his lightsaber and he could still use the Force without being hunted. So what Baylan decided to do was to become a mercenary. That way he could draw on his Jedi knowledge and his skills as a way to earn a living, and he wouldn't have to worry about the growing Empire, which largely untouched the Unknown Regions. If Palpatine, if Vader, if any of the Inquisitors found Baylan, he would have had to have become an Inquisitor himself, or he would have been hunted and destroyed. At some point after the events of Order 66, Baylan began to draw upon the dark side of the Force, and he became what would have been called once upon a time as a Dark Jedi. Now, I'm not convinced that is going to be the official term that's used for Baylan when the series comes out, but that's what these type of characters have historically been called in Star Wars history. Now, given his apprentice Shin's age, it's unlikely that she was ever a part of the Jedi Order and she left with Baylan. It's more likely that Baylan found her in the years following, probably within the Unknown Regions. Maybe he picked up on her Force sensitivity and began to train her, with the pair working side by side as Force-wielding mercenaries in the Unknown Regions up until this point. Now, while it seems Baylan and Shin were once in the Unknown Regions, during the time of the Ahsoka series, they're very much back in the middle of it all. They're back in the core of the galaxy, and they're now working alongside or even for Morgan Elsbeth in her attempt to locate Thrawn and bring him back into the picture. Now, the last we saw of Thrawn was in the season final of Rebels, where he disappeared to the Unknown Regions alongside Ezra Bridger. I don't think Baylan and Shin have had any interactions with Thrawn up until this point, given the fact that Shin asks what would happen once they find him in the trailer.
What happens when we find Thrawn?
So I think their motivation to bring back Thrawn would most likely be for credits, or even an elevated position within a resurrected empire. Now, to rule out the label of Dark Jedi officially, Baylan could be heard in the trailer telling an officer just before he kills him that he and Shin are no Jedi.
We are no Jedi.
Now, it's important here to take note of their lightsabers. Dark Jedi in the past were known to wield a wide variety of lightsabers, many of the colours we'd associate with light side Jedi, and of course the Sith had red ones. Now it begs the question, why is Baylan's and Shin's lightsabers more of a blood orange? Now I don't think this was some kind of mistake, I think this is actually planned by the pair and it's not the result of them incorrectly bleeding their kyber crystal, therefore preventing the blade to appear fully red. Now, I believe they both intentionally have that colour of lightsaber. And whilst the trailer makes it pretty clear to us that these two characters aren't your average Jedi with what we've seen them doing, to the general officer before he dies, they'll see a lightsaber and they'll see Force abilities and they'll assume they are Jedi. Now, the Jedi are far more common in recent galactic history thanks to the Sith Ruler too. Now, although Baylan and Shin aren't Jedi, it seems as though Baylan is actually training Shin in the ways of the Jedi, or at least in their traditions, as can be seen in the trailer with Shin wearing a Padawan braid.
You have no power.
Now, a Padawan braid was used by the Jedi to symbolise their rank as a Jedi in training effectively, and they'd lose the braid once they become a fully fledged Jedi Knight. Now, it seems to me here Baylan is very much Shin's master, and although he is no longer a Jedi, it seems as though Baylan is upholding the traditions he grew up with within the Order, likely because that's the only way he really knows. But unlike the Jedi, Baylan has trained Shin in the dark side of the Force as well, and he could have learnt this from training he received during his time in the Unknown Regions. Now, when we take into account that they both wield an unusual colour of lightsaber and Shin has a Padawan braid, this could potentially mean that Baylan is starting a new order of Force users within the galaxy to sit at the same table of the Jedi and the Sith. And unlike the term Dark Jedi, which can be used to describe any form of Jedi that uses the dark side, now you have to remember here, the dark side isn't necessarily evil itself. It's just that bad people tend to draw upon that side of things. But of course, there is also the possibility that this order of Force users aren't new at all, and it's simply something we've yet to come across within the Star Wars universe. And perhaps they are already an established order in the Unknown Regions, which Baylan did encounter after Order 66, and effectively joined and then took on Shin as an apprentice from there. And perhaps the situation we're seeing play out here is very similar to how Thrawn joined the Empire initially, where he was actually reporting back to his own people, the Chiss. Perhaps Baylan is joining Thrawn with the same intention of reporting back to a potential new order that may be out there somewhere else, and they're looking for allies to then build and expand their reach with. If what we see in the trailer with Shin's Padawan braid is true, and it is what we think it is, whether the new order is large or if it's just the two of them, it means a new order of Force user has been created in the galaxy, which now has the potential to grow into something more. Unfortunately, we lost the actor who portrayed Baylan earlier this year, so although he wouldn't be a part of the order going forwards, Shin certainly could be. Now, due to a lack of noise around the prospect of Baylan being recast for any upcoming Star Wars projects, perhaps even in Filoni's movie or Mandalorian Season 4, I do have a feeling Baylan's Star Wars future has already been decided, and this was done before his passing, and that Shin would be the one to survive in the other shows, potentially growing the New Order whilst working with the Empire as we approach the end game of Filoni's movie. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think this could be a new order of Force users now in the galaxy? Remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new, leave a like on today's video. I'll catch you in the next one. May the Force be with you.